If your company needs to find a missing part, material, equipment within a short time, you can do it via critical material request in the system. You can create a CMR in two ways: pressing the critical material request button on the exact item in the inventory search results, and with a separate button in the top right corner of the header menu, accessible at any moment from any page. Let's take a closer look at these two flows. CMR creation workflow via inventory search. Type the search item in General Search or Material Number in Material Number Search. The system will provide the list of items with indicated material number, short description, part number, manufacturer, owner, further in the system, seller, location, and available quantity. Filters can be applied to received search results to narrow down the list of items. After finding the needed item, press Create Critical Material Request and proceed straight to the request creation without adding the item to the cart. Now you're about to generate a critical material request via filling the form with the following requester info. Your personal data will be automatically fulfilled. As for additional information, please choose License Asset Installation from the drop-down menu, and if required, add an email of colleagues you want to be involved. Proceed to Step 2, Material Info. As you can see, the material number, manufacturer part number, and manufacturer are defined. Fill in the needed item quantity and optionally a detailed description. Click the Proceed to Step 3 button. Choose the criticality of your request in the drop-down menu, either immediate production loss or 1 to 2 weeks production loss, and choose which of the NSC operators will receive your critical request. Tick the boxes. All are selected by default. Here, you can also attach specifications and leave any additional comments. Once you fill in the relevant information, proceed to previewing the request. You can always go to the previous step for applying some changes by clicking back. On the preview screen, you, as a request handler buyer, will see the complete information about the CMR. So, if everything is correct, submit the request. In case of editing, click on Go to Form. Steps of CMR workflow via the Critical Material Request button are almost the same. The request handler buyer will omit the search procedure and fill in the required information manually. Whatever option you choose to create a critical material request, the system will automatically inform you about the CMR submission. Moreover, it will create the request group of regular requests for your CMR, corresponding to the number of operators with a defined criticality level. The CMR will be easily found in the Buy Requests tab or Notifications section. Request processing. The owner, seller, will be notified that the new critical material request has been submitted and see its details. Once the seller opens the request, the system will change its status in the dashboard from registered to received. The seller can now find it in the Request top header menu, Sell Requests section. After checking the availability of the requested item in the selected location, the seller proceeds with the request by clicking the Process button. The seller chooses one option in the Request Feedback pop-up window, depending on whether he can sell and release the item or needs additional verification. If there are any other comments, the seller chooses Other and specifies them in the Comments field. After clicking Process Request, the status of the request changes to In Progress for both buyer and seller. After that, the request handler, buyer, contacts the seller and further discusses the payment terms, delivery methods, and other relevant details. The communication can be carried out either via the virtual inventory chat or in any other way, convenient for both parties. After delivering the needed inventory item to the buyer, the seller has to finish the request in the virtual inventory by pressing Complete, and can optionally leave any comments about the deal. During this stage, the buyer can't perform any action. Once the seller clicks Complete Request, the request status will be displayed as partly completed. The system informs you, as a buyer, that the seller has finished the request. Now it's time to complete the request from your company side. Click the button Complete. After that, a pop-up window appears where you can insert the reference number for the case to track it in your internal systems. Optionally, you can also answer if this deal generated any savings, indicate the sum, and leave comments, if any, about the deal. After the buyer clicks Complete Request in the pop-up window, it will be entirely fulfilled. As a buyer, you shall decide what to do with all other requests, cancel or leave, as are all other requests in the group. The amount of NOK you indicate will be saved in your request history and allow you to access the general statistics of savings.